Hola amigos, how you guys doing? Great? Okay, cool. Pretty much this video is just gonna serve as a reminder of things that you've probably already heard you should be doing for recovery's sake, in terms to whatever, or in relation to whatever sport you do, or physical activities, in my case, whether you call it a sport or not, it's skateboarding, and it's very demanding physically, aside from the mental part, right? And so a lot of you guys know things that can help is eating better, drinking more. I don't know if drinking more water is the way to say it, but being more hydrated and sleeping more, right? Those three things: eating better, staying hydrated, and then sleeping more, are three things you've probably heard from every nutritionist, whether that's from skating or your dietitian, whatever it is, But the thing is, do you need more or less of it? Some people sleep more, but do it in a way where it's compensating for the way they're eating, right? So, for example, me, I know if I eat a lot of bread, that was weird, a lot of bread the night before, or I wouldn't say like 2 to 4 hours before, well, 1 to 4 hours before, I'm gonna need like 10 hours of sleep to wake up like okay. And even then, I'm gonna feel some sort of like tingliness, like if my blood wasn't flowing right during sleep, right? And so that makes me ask, like, well, do I really need 8 to 10 hours of sleep? Or do I need to reduce the amount of foods that are making my blood flow whack or stressing me out pretty much too much, where I need more recovery in the form of sleep? So, how can I eat so that I only need 6 to 7 or 8 hours of sleep, right? That's the kind of question that I've been asking myself lately. And what I've kind of explored with was, not eating 2 hours before, not eating 4 hours before, and also throughout the day, not eating any bread, just, everything else but bread, And then I was like, well, I'm kind of not there yet, Sleep would get I'd wake up a little more restful, but it wouldn't feel there yet where I've felt before, And so I'd take out things like, okay, well, what are some processed candy that I've been eating, And I started to take that out. And so by asking those questions, I began to improve my sleep. So there's sleep, but then there comes diet, right? And then there's all these questions like, okay, what kind of diet should I do if I'm trying to gain muscle, if I'm trying to lose weight, or if I'm just trying to feel more energized? And I've found, through a lot of questioning and a lot of time researching and asking questions and basically trying to find answers, I've found that it's not as complicated as we think. It's a lot of the time it's just, okay, well, ask yourself after you eat that thing, how do you feel? Do you feel more relaxed? Do you feel more stressed? Do you feel a little anxious, a little jittery? This comes with drinks too. The things that you think are hydrating you, are they really hydrating you? Do you feel more fresh? Do you feel a little more anxious? How do you feel after you eat or drink certain things, right? And I think those questions are very useful. Sometimes I think it stresses us out not to have answers for those questions, but really, I've learned that there are no answers to those questions. It's pretty much, there are answers, but that answer changes from a day-to-day basis, and also depending on what you did that day, right? Some days I can get away with eating 3 plates of food, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But that's probably a day where I either did a lot of activity that day or I did a lot of activity the previous day, and so I'm I can eat. I have an appetite, and it's not forceful. And other days I didn't do nothing. I just laid down and I needed to recover. I did a little bit of, walking, but I didn't do much. So I just could go and feel great with only a plate of food. It just really depends, and the answer is always changing. I don't think there's a consistent amount of food you need a day. For example, I don't think and I say think because I've tried to have 2,500 calories of food per day and divide that from protein, carbs, and fats and all that stuff. I tried that when I was like 22 and trying to gain some muscle and this and that. It's not sustainable, at least for me, unless I was trying to be a bodybuilder and I was trying to make content off of that and this and that. It's not sustainable. And so what I've found is that it's really just contextual to that day. In other words, your situation. And so pretty much it's just questions on top of questions and on top of questions. But these questions aren't meant to stress you out. They're just meant to have you dive deeper into your health, pretty much. I wouldn't say it's like to be smart or to understand how you can make the planet better or anything bigger than how do you improve your health. Because at the end of the day, you are, at least in my opinion, you are the most important thing in this sense, because your health affects the way you treat others, the way you can help others, and the way you show up for yourself. And it's safe to say that the more healthier you are, the better you can do all those things I just mentioned. And so pretty much that's why I mentioned hydration, diet, and sleep. Those things are, in my opinion, are supposed to be ways to recover yourself in a more efficient manner. And you can kind of, put your health on a scale and experiment with how much you need depending on what you're feeling or what day it is. And so why am I saying this? I'm pretty much just kind of kickstarting, or actually I probably did a video already kind of similar to this, but I'm kickstarting the idea that I want YouTube, or at least my channel, to provide value where from a place of experience, I guess. I've experienced a lot of different ideas, contradicting methods to improve my health, to optimize my health. And I just feel like what I've learned at the end of the day is that it's very contextual to myself. And I strongly believe that the way we should be approaching our health is as a forever evolving system. Like it's the health, the way you need to treat your health at 26 is not going to be the same as 27, much less 30, 40, and then even when you're older, because our bodies do change a little bit, and at least the systems in our bodies work differently. And there's benefits to having a younger biological system and an older biological system. So it's not about like, as you get older, your body starts deteriorating. I truly believe that's optional, and you have choices that can influence the way you go about your health, right? And even your ability, I guess. And this applies, in my case, to skateboarding. I don't think that necessarily you start to suck as soon as you get older. There's a lot of people, like I'd say Nija, I'd say Leo Romero, I'd say Carlos Ribeiro, I'd say Yuto. They're all getting older. Yeah, Yuto's in his prime and this and that. But they're all up there except Yuto, from the ones I've mentioned. But they're still jumping down big stuff. They're still challenging themselves and are still getting better every day. So I guess the question I would ask after saying that is, how can I do that for myself under my context? This means not looking to them and asking them what they eat, because it doesn't matter what they eat as far as like improving my health. It matters what I need, because what matters to them is what they need, right? So long story short, it's different for everybody, and I think asking yourself the question and experimenting day to day and taking action is what's gonna help at the end of the day, right? And so I'll leave you guys with that. I'm definitely gonna, I guess, keep this as a conversation and make sure that I elaborate on certain things that I just kind of brush through, but also be willing to go back and forth about some things that I said. And it's perfectly cool to be sharing your perspective and how I make no sense, because truthfully, in many ways, I don't make any sense because to anyone else but myself, because I understand where I'm coming from, right? So I just want you to understand where I'm coming from so that you can understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. Long story short, YouTube platform is going to be for intentional value that I feel I can provide. And then Instagram is going to be something where it's more just my creative, my spontaneous creative acts, so to speak. So yeah, I'll leave you guys at that. Have a good day, and hopefully, let's not say hopefully, willfully, you'll see a video tomorrow from me here on the gram. On the YouTube. So laters. Peace, amigos.